So I'm going to try and create the blackjack program as we go along, and when we reach an element which you need to be taught about the language, I will break off and I will teach you a little bit about that at the time. So I've taught you this because it's exactly how I want to start my program. So let's go back to what we were doing in a previous video where I said cards equals and then I gave a series of cards. Well, actually what I'm going to do is not cards, but I'm going to write out the suits of the cards. And there are 4 suits, and those suits are hearts, and I'm using a capital letter just to be consistent. There's no reason to do that. There's no reason why you couldn't use the word hearts. I'm just trying to make it simpler for later on in the program. Hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. So they are my 4 suits, and what I'm going to do is create a pack of cards using these suits, and the next list that I show you in a new kind of loop. So the next thing I'm going to do is have the values of the cards, and the values I'm going to choose as let's go through them. The first one is going to be the ace, so I've used an 8. Then we're going to have the king. Then we're going to have the queen. Whoops, it needs to be a string. Then we're going to have the jack. Then we're going to have the 10. Now I am not going to write 10 like that because if you take a look, each and every single one of these is just 1 character long, and I'm going to keep to that format throughout. It's just going to make my game easier. So instead of having 10, I'm going to write the value T for 10. From then on, I'm going to actually use the digits on the keyboard. So I've got a 9, and then an 8, and then a 7, and a 6, and then a 5. I think you get the idea now. And a 4, and a 3, and a 2. Whoops. And that's it. I'm not going to put the 1 in because the ace counts as a 1 or an ace. But I've ended my list with a square bracket. So now I've got 2 lists that I've made up. They're fixed. They're not going to grow. I'm only going to use them to start the game off. So I've got my suits and I've got the face values. So what am I going to do with these? Well, I'm going to join them together so that I end up with a deck of cards that looks something like Ace of Hearts, then King of Hearts. And if you know your deck of cards, you'll know that there are 52 different cards. So there are 13 cards in any one suit, and there are 4 suits, which gives us 52 cards. I'm not going to write it like this, it's far too difficult. So I'm going to let the computer do it for me, and to do that I'm going to use a special kind of loop called a counting loop, and we'll see that in the next video.